Namaste everyone. Welcome to Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly spiritual learning program for the adults. Today we are joined with Acharya Brahmadevji. Acharya will be talking on the universal values in rituals today. Acharya Brahmadevji has an inclusive educational background in science, banking, management, and Darshanacharya, Vedic philosophy, Darshan Yoga Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at Arya Sabha Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for Arya Sabha Mauritius on the universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. The Mauritius Council of Religions, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Yoga and Meditation Center. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English and French. Over to Acharya.
Om. Namaste, everybody. Let's bring our mind to focus. Sit down straight, close the eyes gently, with the body totally relaxed. And deep inhale and exhale. Sensing the breath moving in and out of the nostrils. We are going to do Om Japa 3 times. So long inhale and slow exhale while chanting Om, feeling the vibrations of the chanting throughout the body. Then 1 time Gayatri Mantra. Om. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Join the palms together rather than gently cover the eyes and slowly open the eyes below the palms. External light doesn't strike our eyes and energy to the facial muscles. So we continue the series on the sanskaras, the sacraments within the Vedic Hindu philosophy. I'm going to go back to Upanayan Sanskara or Yajupaved Sanskara. Just a brief of what we covered. We covered the importance of Garbhadan Sanskar, the Sanskar for conception. Then Punsavan Simantanayan Sanskara. After that, the Jat Karma Sanskar, which is welcoming the newborn. Then Namkaran, which is naming ceremony. We also looked into why of Nishkraman Sanskar, that is getting the baby stabilized within the home environment for 3 months, and after 3 months, that is the first outing. And within that, there is the Surya and Chandra Darshan, sighting of the sun and the moon. the sun, energy, and the moon, tranquility, the cool light. So the child should be energetic also and then be cool, serene as the moon. After that is Anaprashan Sanskar, start feeding semi-solid or liquid food. The slow weaning process, because the child is growing, milk won't suffice for the growth. So it's there. And after Anaprashan Sanskar, the feeding, so when we start feeding, that is also within the Sanskar, because feeding is taking care about Ahar and Ahar is feeding. After that, that will take care of the development of the body, the development of the mind, and the development, that is, it takes care of the physical, mental, moral, spiritual development. So that's why food is an important process. That's why we always pray before having our food. After that is the Karnaved Sanskar, the piercing of the ear at the age of, no, it's Mundan Sanskar, shaving of the head to shed off the hair that was with the baby from birth. And that is usually done at 1 year's age, because at that time the teeth are coming out and that creates an excess of energy and irritation at the level of the head. And shaving of the head at that time carries the Ayurvedic philosophy and practices there, that at that time when remove the hair, that removes the excess energy and gives the child a stable environment. Then comes Karnaved Sanskar, which is piercing of the ear, and that also we look for one nerve in the ear. That also is as good as a vaccine, because Ayurveda describes it as a vaccination process that boosts the immunity of the child from so many ailments. So piercing, it's not in the concept as it's done nowadays, but as an Ayurvedic and medical process. After that comes the Upanayan Sanskar of the Yajupavit. And Yajupavit, everybody is supposed to be inducted with the Yajupavit, because the Yajupavit carries the messages of our duties, towards Pitreren, Rishiren, and Devren. Pitreren is our duty towards our elders, parents, mother, father, and grandparents. Then we owe the duty and respect to our rishis and gurus, mentors in our life. And the third one is Devrin, to Ishwar God and to nature. So at that very tender age, the child is being inducted into this. And one mantra which says there, Agni Vratapate Vratam Charishyami. So telling the child, inspiring the child, giving the child the direction that he or she has to be virtuous, has to be on the path of truth since the early tender age. And remember, we have a duty to teach as a role model, walking the talk. Often, I just give an example. If somebody knocks the door and we tell the child to go and tell that person that I am not here at home. So we are indirectly teaching the child to lie. So if we avoid such pitfalls, then we are going to teach the child by example, leading by example. So Upanayan Sanskar, it's not only the duty of or reminder to the child that he has to be truthful. We have to be truthful and show to the child that truth at the end will pay the dividends in life. Then comes the Vedaram Sanskar, induction, initiation to study. And study is mainly study of the Vedas in the sense that the Vedas are the source of true knowledge, both worldly and spiritual knowledge. And that was in the Gurukul. It was not only teaching the Vedas, only Sanskrit and mantras just to, as we say, to become priest. No. It was the building of the personality, taking care, staying at the Gurukul, which is equivalent to boarding schools. Everybody had the same dress, the same dress code, the same food, the same sleeping facilities, whether it was the son of the king or the son of the pope. So that gives the sense of equality to everybody in the Gurukul. There was no one who was in a superior hierarchy and no one in the lower hierarchy. So that started bringing the harmony among children, that we are all equal. And if the parents wanted to give something to the child, they couldn't give, they had to give the donations to the Gurukul to enhance the facilities, unlike what is done nowadays. And the concept of school uniform in modern days is from that. The concept of having canteen where people sit down and have their food together is within that same. So we see even modern education has some of the concepts which are there. But when we observe generally is when the concept of education, modern education has left out the human values or the spiritual values of life. And within the Vedaram Sanskar, it starts with one mantra which says, Mama Vratete Hridayam. So the guru and the children, the teachers and the children pledge to share the same mental and emotional vibrations. And the mantra which is used as induction to studies and at the beginning of each class is Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. It's the concept of sharing knowledge to increase the knowledge of both the learner and the teacher. Because by sharing knowledge, knowledge is increased. Remember, first time for teaching, a teacher, to teach about 1 hour, he needs about 5 to 6 hours of preparation. But once he gets into the flow, the more he teaches, the more he develops himself, the more he will delve into research. And this is the concept of education. And when we see the other mantra which says Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudutyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate, which is generally taken to be, we take the whole from the whole and the whole remains. That is, you give 100% of what you have and you still have 100% with you. And there's only one thing in the world which we can share like this is knowledge. Because whatever I know in my life, whatever been my life learning or life experiences, when I share to somebody else, nothing in me gets lower. But if I have, say, $100 within my pocket, I give $10 to somebody, it's 90 which is left with me. And everything in our life is like that. So see the high level of mental and emotional vibrations which are shared between the teacher and the student. And the induction comes with few short mantras. The first one says Brahmacharya Siyaso. Brahmacharya Siyaso, it goes in the line that at that point in time, both pledge for maintaining high level of physical development. And with that, why? because by controlling the senses, we'll be able to focus, channel our body energy and physical and mental energies to the real development, because especially at the studentship stage. And the guru is leading by example. So it's not the concept of teacher saying one thing and doing another thing. It goes in the same line. Brahmacharya CSO is control over the body energy, channeling it to the proper resources. Studentship is the period of learning. Then the second one says, Aposhana. Aposhana means we are going to do our daily duties properly. Time to sleep, time to wake up, time to have bath, time to have physical exercise, time to have food, time for learning, time for everything. So it starts regulating discipline within the child. The third one says karma kuru. We are going to be dutiful, that is, shun negligence and affirm ourselves in our duties. And the duty starts with shun evil and be virtuous. And virtue is dharma, and within dharma we have so many precepts which are taught, like be patient, dhriti, kshama, be forgiving, be compassionate, dhamma, have strong willpower and self-control, asteya, non-stealing, never steal or never take anything without the permission of the owner, even if it's a pen. I need to borrow a pen, I have to ask permission from the owner. And this is, if small things like this, bits and pieces are taught to children, they'll grow up to be good human beings. So karma kuru. These are, if we start teaching the precepts of dharma, and even if I have to take the pen of my child, I say, can I borrow your pen? So what will the child learn? He will learn in return when he have to ask for something, or if he wants to say eat anything from the kitchen, he will tell the parents first before going to the kitchen and take it himself. So these are ways and means that how we train the child. Then the fourth one says diva ma swapso. You won't sleep during the day because then you will disturb your sleep cycle during the night. Okay, you may have a nap, 15, 20 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. But no deep sleep during the day, otherwise the sleeping time of the night will be disturbed. And then the Vedas say, Ullu kayatum, shishulu kayatum, don't be like the owl who sleeps during the day and wakes up during the night. Okay, people are working on shift, that's an obligation. But generally the night is there for sleep, to rest and be in harmony with nature. Then the next one says, Acharya dhino veda madhishva. So understand the purpose of having the Acharya, the teacher and the mentor at school. It's the Gurukul, but then take it in the modern concept, it's the school. When we are at school, we are under the supervision of the Acharya, of the teacher, of the mentor. So when we are under his supervision, we have to follow the guidance and the instructions of the teacher. Then Dwadasha Varshani Prativedam Brahmacharya Grihana Va Brahmacharya Chara. It says it takes about 12 years to learn one Veda, but in the modern sense, there's the curriculum, and if we follow the curriculum, we follow the syllabus, so we'll end up with a proper graduation in due course. Otherwise, if we go to school only for play, then we are lost. Or if we go to school and get involved in the groups, which go astray, then we lose our own personality. We lose what is known as the human side of our development. Then Acharya Dino Bhavana Yatra Dharma Charanat. So we'll always be respectful, lead a righteous life under the guidance, under the instructions of the teacher, the Acharya, and especially follow the guidance when he's teaching about the values of life. When he's teaching about particular subjects, we pay due attention to all this. Then it says, Maithunam Varjaya. Don't get involved in activities that make us lose our body energy, like reading of passionate literature, getting involved in sexual activities. That is not the time. The time is after proper body development, physical development. There's the stage for that. Upari Shayam Varjaya. So don't sleep, as we say, formerly it was people sleeping on the floor with a mat and with a small carpet. Now we are at the home, so we don't sleep on things which are too soft. It should be something which is comfortable, but not, as we say, plush. Otherwise, something which is too plush, it deforms the body during sleep. We get that pattern, then the body gets curves, and that is for physical development. Then it says, Kaushala Vagandha Janita Varjaya. It says, singing, playing instruments, dance, etc. Don't get too involved in that, because it's good for development, but then don't go on the extreme. Need the balanced life. Then Atyanta Snanam Bhojanam Nidram Jagaram Nidram Lobha Moha Bhaya Shokan Varjaya. Never spend too much time in, as we say, in the toileting activities, because we learn to save water, to save the resources. Never overeat, never oversleep. Atyanta Snanam, that is, don't spend too much time in the bath, because we need to learn save water. One was there. Atyanta Bhojanam, then we should never overeat, because that is going to affect our health. Atyantam Nidram, never oversleep, because we'll become lazy. Atyantam Jagaranam, that is, like we say, there's a time to sleep, a time to wake up. Then Lobha Moha Bhaya Shokanam, don't get involved in lobha, greed, moha, in over attachment. It may be to people or to things. Atyanta Bhaya, should not fear beyond what is reasonable. We should fear that, okay, when we are doing wrong, we are going to get the penalties for the wrong that we are doing. That's why we should fear and avoid doing wrong. But we shouldn't fear beyond what is reasonable. Atyanta Shokanam, we shouldn't get involved in grief also. Some things may affect us, we are grieved by that, but we shouldn't get down the lane, because that is going to lead to problems like depression. And so be careful. Things are being taught at the young age. Then Prati Dinam Ratre Paschime Yame Chota Yavashiyakam Kritva. It goes like this. It says, wake up at dawn. So have your self-maintenance, go to the toilet, clean your teeth, have a bath, pray and worship, have a time for physical exercises, for meditation, and that is taking care about our physical health and mental health. Then it says, for the people in the Gurukul, there was a time when you get your hair cut and things like that. So it was not getting involved in, as we say, fashion, which is nowadays, because we lose time and we lose the resources in that. So the child is being taught to simple living and high thinking. Then it says, Mansadi Aksharam Madhya Panam Javarjaya. Don't resort to meat eating of foods that are not recommended, like fermented or food which has started going bad. Don't drink liquor. Don't go on to intoxicating substances. When it say Madhya Adi Panam, it's not only alcohol, but it takes all the intoxicating substances there. Then the next one is, as far as possible, short distances, go for a walk. Nowadays, the trend is for short distances, even we just take the car out. So when we go on a walk like this, we are going to move our body and do physical exercise. Then it says, what we do actually now is when we stay at home, we don't wear shoes. But at times, there's the concept of acupressure. So it's also recommended to walk outside on the rough surface. And that's why the concept was there when people were living in the villages in the olden times. They used shoes only for long walk, shoes and sandals, but they used to work on rough surface because that was doing the acupressure on the soul, and that was linking various nerve points in our body. And if we can still remember our elderly, what they they took the cutlery, the bowl, and were rubbing the soul with oil. That was massaging the soul to activate the various nerve points in our body. And so many points of the whole body are connected to the soul and to the hand. That's why massaging of the body is recommended. So when we go on that, it says also, don't eat too sweet or too salty items. So it's control of the taste, because eventually when we go on the path of Dharma, it says, if we control the organ of taste, we can control so many things in our life. And if we look at the modern trends, unfortunately, most of the white collar crimes are planned around dinner and lunch. And when I want somebody to do something for me, to buy a favor from somebody, it's usually I bring him for lunch or for dinner and serve him what is his most preferred food. So that's one way of controlling ourselves. Don't indulge. It's good to have good food, nutritious food, tasty food, but don't go on the, as we say, skewed on the other side. And we see in modern days, even the financial crisis which affected the world in 2008 was due to that. Most of the scams were planned around lunches and dinners. And if we start getting those discipline in our life, I think in the present dire situation of COVID, we'll be able to manage ourselves. It's a question of having the discipline inculcated in the child at the very tender age. Then there's also the concept of donation. The concept of donation comes, it's taken in the Vedaram Sanskar, induction in learning, and it is also taken at the graduation point. This is the Samavartan Sanskar. The same counsel are being repeated to the child, but then there are other things which are added there. And it talks about Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. Always go on the path of Dharma. Be righteous, righteous in thoughts, in words and deeds, righteous in character, righteous in actions, righteous in nature. So if we go on these concepts, we'll always be humane in whatever we do. And we know the concept which we understand, Satyam eva jayate nanritam. Truth will always win. And in the common language, it says, hiding truth is like hiding oil under water. So the slightest ripple or stirring of the water will bring the oil to the surface. Then when people know what is the truth and what was, as we say, the makeup which we did, trying to make false things appear like the truth, these crumble. And when these crumble, we lose our self-respect and the respect that people give to us in society. So that's why it says, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. Then it says, Swadhyaya Ma Pramada. Even when we've graduated out of school, out of Gurukul, never stop learning. Always go back to learning, and especially on spiritual matters, because that leads us to be ethical throughout our life. Then it says, Acharya Priyam Dhanam Ahutya. So when it's not only for the Acharya, it's also for the elders. We will be respectful to them and care for their needs. Then Satyana Pramaditavyam Dharmatra Prabhavitatyam. Always remain firm on truth and on the righteous path. Kushala Janma Pravaditavyam Bhutyema Pravaditatyam. Never neglect truth, never neglect Dharma, because we know Dharma Rakshati Rakshita. When we protect Dharma, that is by living a righteous life, that pays the dividends in terms of Dharma will protect us. Because when we are righteous, like we say, we don't steal, we don't tell lies, we don't tell things, so we don't have to bear the negative consequences. We are truthful in all our dealings, people will respect us for that. Then Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na Pramaditavyam. One way of spreading good values is to leave them and to talk about them. And that's why there's the duty of parents nowadays, because children rarely go to boarding schools. So parents have a duty to spend some time, quality time with the children, teaching them the values by way of life experiences, by way of small stories, especially if we take dinner time to be one of the prime time, because morning is always the rush. So we don't have the time at breakfast time. And lunch is generally at school. So, and we also at our jobs. So we take dinner time for that. And we can take the weekend breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. So if we spend 5 minutes talking about good things, short stories, we'll be able, that is what it is saying there. The word is there, Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam cha Pramaditatyam. Whatever we've learned in life, Pravachan, we are telling that, we're transmitting those good values to our children. Then Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava, which is a common concept which we learn in Hinduism, in Vedic philosophy. says always respect the mother. And remember, look at the line. The first one is the mother. Because when the child grows, 9 months in the womb, and the first probably till 3 years, it's more with the mother. And after that, it goes with the father. Then comes the father, Pitri Devo Bhava. And the parents come first because these are the first people who've catered for our needs when we have taken birth and when we are growing. Then Acharya Devo Bhava, always respect our teachers, our gurus, our mentors. Because when we respect them, they will be willing to share more and more knowledge and will become more learned. And remember, knowledge is not only the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, but it's a whole combination for our development, physical, mental, moral, spiritual, and social development, as per the Vedic Hindu philosophy. Then Atithi Devo Bhava. Remember, Atithi here is not those who we've invited for lunch or dinners because these are planned. Atithi jiski tithi nahi hai. And especially those, when we get the visit of elderly people, we've got the visit of learned scholars. When we sit down with them, give them a glass of water, a cup of tea or milk, or sharing food with them, they will share their life experiences and knowledge, and we become more and more knowledgeable. We'll be able to avoid their errors and omissions, and we'll be able to walk 10 steps ahead in whatever good they did, because we know how they did that. When we do it, we can do it 10 times better. Then it says, Yani anavadyani karmani tani sevati vyani na itarani. So the counsel that is given at the graduation is telling the graduate now, listen to your elders, care for them and follow the path. Maybe father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, and all these around us. The next counsel is follow only such conduct if the conduct is virtuous. So if, as we say, the teacher has gone on the wrong path or the parents have gone on the wrong path, we have a duty now to shun that wrong path and remain on the right path. Then the next one says that whenever we have the company, especially the elderly and the learned, we give due regards to them. Have them seated first before we sit. That's a way of respect. Then the other concept, which is very important in life, is about the concept of sharing. It says, Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Deyam. It's about donation now. And donation not only involves material things, we can donate by listening to people in need, because listening to people who are suffering, that relieves their burden, their pain, their suffering. We can give our time, like volunteering. And we can also donate a gift of knowledge. And remember, the gift of knowledge is known to be the highest gift that we can give to humanity. Especially in these days of our present COVID situations. Probably we can just give a call and take listen to our friends, our relatives, share with them good things, boost their morale. And that is one way of giving. So it says, Shraddhaya Deyam, give with faith. Ashraddhaya Deyam, even if you don't have faith in these good things, just do it. Like we say, taking the phone and calling somebody, taking how they are doing and giving them some moral encouragement, boost their morale. Even if we don't feel like it, just do it, because that adds to our positive karma. Then he says, Shriya Deyam, Hriya Deyam, Bhiya Deyam, Samveda Deyam. So for whatever we have, Shriya Deyam, even after having more wealth, we don't feel like giving. Let's be modest in life. Let's give. Hriya Deyam, when we are earning, we don't sit like the snake, because people have given to us. Let's give back to society. And that starts by charity, compassion. Then it says, Riya Deyam, even if people are going to just put us on the high pedestal, we'll get name and fame out of that. Just discard the name and fame, continue to be charitable, continue to cater for the needs of those around us. Then Bhiya Deyam, give out of fear. Give out of fear because people are giving. What people will say if I don't give. And even if the amount is just a token amount, because not everybody has the capacity to give big sums. So we shouldn't fear that what people will say. It's given in the concept, I'll just take it. If everybody is giving $100 and I don't have the capacity to give 100, I can give only 10, let me give the 10. The cause is good. The recipient deserves that. So it says, Samveda Deyam, we should also look that is for public welfare and is for righteous cause, for deserving causes. We just don't give blindly. Because if we give to undue causes, we are adding negative karma to us. So that is one way of teaching compassion and charity to children and to those who are graduating out of school. Unfortunately, nowadays at the graduation of the school, we get a guest lecturer who give inspiring talks. But do we remember those inspiring talks? We've got so many of them. If we go on YouTube, we've got great personalities like Bill Gates. There was, I think, Tim Cook, the one who set up the Apple company. We've got Barack Obama and so many of the former presidents of the US. We've got so many personalities at the international level. And last, I think I saw on YouTube, there was so many of the big industrialists also who came forward, and they gave donations to the learning institutions, to the universities or to the schools, etc. But we take that moment to be what they gave to the school. We forget or simply fail to remember the lines, the inspiring lines of their life experiences. Like I remember Bill Gates when he was giving the valedictory at the graduation at Harvard once, he was saying, I'm the best product of Harvard. I was the best dropout. But I remade my life and I'm standing before you as a role model. So academically, I failed, but I succeeded in life. And look what Bill Gates did. When there was the concept there of donating, charity. His good friend, Warren Buffett, which is his mentor, was talking about we keep sufficient for us to live a comfortable life. And what is beyond that, let's give to charity. That goes into the concept of Shraddhadeyam, Ashraddhadeyam, Hriyadeyam, Bhriyadeyam, Zanvidhadeyam, which I was talking just now. These people are not from the Hindu faith, but they were practicing that. They led by example, they were role models of that. And Bill Gates was the first person to write, I think it was about 85% of his wealth to charity, because that 15% sufficed for him, and for probably, he calculated 4 generations after him would be able to live without doing much. So if we go on these concepts, these people, I know Bill Gates, he learned so many things from the Hindu philosophy, and he's more practical, down to earth. And this is what is being taught in the Vedaram and the Samavartan Sanskar. Children are inducted to be real human beings. So if we understand those concepts, beautiful concepts, it's not only theory, it's more practical, down to earth, down to life. It makes us humble, and humility is going to make out of us great people. I spent time today on these 2 sanskar because I felt it was necessary to unfold the innate, or as we say, the subtle knowledge of these sanskar to all. Sharing that, because otherwise what we take, sanskar is just a ceremony and that is over. And once that is over, we have nothing to do back on them. No, that forms the basis. We are laying the foundations of a real human being. So I just hope I've been able to provide some insight on how values come forward, sprout out of the sanskar in the formation of the person, in the building of the person. These are the building blocks in the personality of people. Next, we'll be looking into the Grihasthashram, sanskar, wedding, and we'll look into some of the vows, which is essential to know, and that is going to bring stability during married life. So that will be the next session. Remember, if you have any questions on whatever we discussed today, you can write to us on Facebook Messenger, Hindu Center of Atlanta, or just drop an email, hinducenterofatlanta@gmail.com. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Acharyaji. Acharyaji explained today about the Samavartan Sanskar and Vedaram Sanskar. Acharyaji has already explained in our previous sessions about all the previous sanskar, like Garbhadhan Sanskar, Jatkam Sanskar, Namkaran Sanskar, Annaprashan Sanskar, Mundan Sanskar, Karanped Sanskar, Upnayan Sanskar, and Yajñopavit Sanskar. Acharyaji explained today about the Vedaram Sanskar that tells us about the education in the boarding schools, formerly known as in Hindu philosophy as a Gurukul. Everybody is wearing the similar kind of clothes. Everybody is eating same food. That gives the equality amongst all the pupils. Acharya also explained about the importance of teacher, how should we behave in the schools or Gurukul, the importance of every activity of the life, like the timely sleeping, timely bathing, timely doing other works, eating, and the physical exercise. Acharya also explained the importance of simple living and high thinking, food habits, and walking by barefoot. That is also very important, which gives us a lot of health benefits. We should also have the control on our taste, not too much sweet or not very salty. concept of donation Acharya explained in Vedaram Sanskar. Always we should be try to give whether we have it or not, or whether we want or not, whether we like or not, we should always give the donation for the righteous cause. Acharya explained also about the Matradeva Bhava, Pitradeva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava, and Atithi Deva Bhava. Respect all these things to get more knowledge. We should be in the company of learned scholars, which gives the life experience and knowledge. Only follow the righteous conduct, shun the wrong path, and remain on the righteous path. Gift of donation, gift of time. Donations are in the different form. It is not always in the monetary terms. It is it is also in the form of knowledge and time. Acharya also explained that there is only one thing which we give 100%, then still we remain with the 100%. That is the knowledge. If we give knowledge to anybody, we still have all the knowledge with us. So if we follow all these righteous paths of dharma, we can shape our life and this world in the better form. Thank you, Acharya, for your very wonderful talk today about all this virtuous living, the values of rituals. Acharya will continue next week about the Grihastha Ashram. Please do join us. Acharya gave the example of modern rich people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. They live by example, by giving their money, which according to our Vedic philosophy, which they give a lot of donations for the betterment of the society. So to learn about the Grihastha Ashram next week, please do join us on Sunday, next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Just for a reminder, we have a weekly session for the kids on Friday evening, 9 p.m. Every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. On Saturday, we have the weekly satsang at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And on Sunday, the spiritual learning for the adults at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have any question, you can send us at Hindu Center of Atlanta at gmail.com, and you can follow us to see all these wonderful videos on Hindu Center of Atlanta YouTube channel and Hindu Center of Atlanta Facebook page. Hope to see you in our next program. Thank you and see you next time. Acharya will lead us. Yes.
Deep inhale. Namaste, everybody. Have a good night and a nice week ahead.